Welcome to the fifth part of the 2025 Analysis Enhancement videos on Combined Land Plan. I'm Sophie Hawkins, and I'll be talking through the next steps for breeders, specifically getting your data quality in order, accessing results and re-benchmarking, and next steps if you have questions once Combined Land Plan results are released and what resources will be available. Getting your data quality in order is important as it is within the current maternal and terminal analyses. Once you submit data, it's a good idea to jump on the submission portal and check and update any exclusions. We want to ensure that your data quality is as high as it can be, so then your breeding values are more accurate. To do this, go onto your on-farm software and update the exclusions, and then resubmit the most relevant year drop data to sheep genetics. Another key thing to be thinking about specifically for Combined Land Plan is updating and fixing any genomic pedigree inconsistencies. This is an inconsistency with the pedigree that you've supplied through doing lambing rounds, etc., versus the pedigree that has been defined through the genotype. Given that we are placing more of an emphasis on that genomic relationship when calculating relationships between animals, this is a really key factor to go and update. To update your genomic pedigree inconsistency, go onto your on-farm software, update the pedigree IDs and the method to DNA, and then resubmit your data file to sheep genetics. Finally, reviewing your data quality score report. You can access your data quality score report on the sheep genetics search site, where you can go into your flock box and then click on the DQS report. Some key things to be thinking about when you're thinking about data quality is linkage, genotype, and contemporary groups. If you have any questions or need any help fixing any exclusions or genomic pedigree inconsistencies, please contact the sheep genetics team and set up a one-on-one session with the sheep genetics development officer. With the phase releases of Combined Land Plan, it's really important to be considering future phase releases and getting that data quality sorted before each phase release. For example, if you're a terminal breeder and haven't been submitting any mating or no pregnancy scan data, try and get that in before we release the component reproduction phase, so then you have linkages and more accurate breeding values. Likewise, if you haven't been recording something because that trait hasn't been available within your current analysis, but you do want to get access to those breeding values, like breech cover for that in terminals, you can review the Breeder's Guide or Visual Score Guide to see how you can record those types of traits and actually start recording that information, so then you have a build-up of data before we release that relevant trait phase. We also recommend starting to have those conversations with your commercial clients. Ideally, this year we don't want to see Combined Land Plan breeding values in sale catalogues because it is a big change and we don't want to create too much confusion, and given the timing of the change as well. Ideally, we don't want to start seeing combined land plan breeding values in sale catalogues until we have selection indexes available, which will be around that 2027 ram selling season. We will also be providing lots of resources and communications around each phase to explain the change and show the impact and give you more relevant information on each phase. Accessing results and re-benchmarking. So this is a sneak peek into what the Combined Land Plan search site will look like. We have changed the colour of the Combined Land Plan webpage to this bright orange colour to emphasise that this is a research analysis. And we also have links that are very accessible across all of the Combined Land Plan web pages on the sheep genetics search site to resources and information for this analysis enhancement. We also have percentile bands specifically for Combined Land Plan, which is available for all animals in the Combined Land Plan analysis, as well as providing more specialised percentile bands based on specific production systems. So we have a percentile band for terminal breeds, maternal breeds, first sire cross breeds, corridal and cheddar breeds. This is to enable more direct comparisons of animals within relevant production systems. So the Combined Land Plan breeding values will only be available on the sheep genetics search site. So you can export this data, which is available through an Excel download only, but you cannot put them into your on-farm software. But a few things to check when considering when looking at breeding values for combined land plan is firstly the analysis date. Since this is a research analysis, this will be running secondary to the current maternal and terminal analyses. So we cannot guarantee that we will get a combined land plan results every single analysis run. So it's a good idea to double check when the analysis date for combined land plan is specifically. The other thing that is the main change is that we don't currently have selection indexes. So we will be ranking animals highest to lowest as default based on post-weaning weight. This is something that can become customizable as it is in the current maternal and terminal analyses, as well as the customizable ASBV button. Just noting that we currently only releasing growth and carcass trait breeding values, so it is a small subset of breeding values available at the moment. To ease the transition of combined land plan, we have developed a compare tool that you can use to compare the rankings between animals, which will be talked about in a later video. An important thing to note is that combined land plan is a significant analysis enhancement and is not comparable to the current maternal and terminal analyses because they are two different data sets. So there is going to be only certain things that development officers can diagnose in terms of why an animal's breeding value has changed. As there has been lots of changes, as mentioned in previous videos, and lots of confounding factors as well, it will be difficult to pinpoint what is actually causing that potential change in breeding value or ranking of animals. There are certain things that the development officers will be able to look at and can provide some information on, including the contemporary group structure changes, therefore any relative performance compared to contemporary group for an individual animal, as well as the genomic relationship between animals that has a genotype and a potential sire or dam that also has a genotype. And we can trace that back to the impact of that increased genomic relationship in the combined land plan analysis. We also recommend booking a one-on-one session with the sheep genetics development officer to go over any of these aspects. But most importantly, I wanted to highlight that the technical updates are only being made to the combined land plan analysis only. So they are not comparable to the current maternal and terminal analysis. So if you still have questions, we recommend that you watch these webinar recordings, as well as reading the analysis enhancement booklets. There will be one available on our website, as well as one being mailed out to you. We also recommend listening to the podcast and have a look online and compare results and re-benchmark accordingly to the percentile bands. If in doubt, give us a call and book a one-on-one session with a sheep genetics development officer. Thank you.